Alright, so as most of you probably know by now, Wizards finally announced the bracket tier commander changes that they telegraphed, indicated last year. So what did they promise us last year? They promised us that they would be doing 4 tiers, that they would be providing more guidance into what's allowed, what's not, as far as the tiers go, trying to balance the game, trying to make it so it's easier for people to find the kind of game they're looking for. So people that want more low-powered game can come in. Okay, I'm playing bracket 1, which tier 1 is the top, is the highest, is the most cutthroat. It's the winner's circle, right? Tier 1, tier 1 deck. So of course Wizards, being Wizards, decided to upend the terminology and fuck with people's expectations, because thus they do. It's like they have a bunch of people that really don't know what the hell is going on in the real world, sitting in an ivory tower somewhere, making decisions. So what everybody thought, based on what they said, what most people thought would happen, is they would announce 4, let's call them brackets now because that's what they're calling them, 4 brackets. And in the lowest bracket, you would have basically an unmodified pre-con from a couple years ago, a low-level deck. No tutors, no fetching, no infinite combos, no extra turns, no land destruction, none of that. And then at the top, you would have shit like this, if this was a combo deck. Which it is, but it's a 4-card combo, so it doesn't have the ubiquitous 2-card Disciple of the Vault and Sculpting Seal combo. It could. I do own a Disciple of the Vault, but I choose not to run it because I don't want to play at that level. So that was the broad brush that they told us, the range, right? And that they would be going through cards and telling us what tier they're in. So that way you could look at your deck and say, oh wow, I've got all these high tier cards. If I want to play at a lower bracket, if I want to play at a lower bracket level, I need to take some of them out. I need to replace some of them. And it would come down to your group. You would come down to, okay, what does your group want to play? If everybody wants to play bracket 2, which would be just above precons, here are the cards that you can't have or you shouldn't run, and you shouldn't run things like it. Okay. So what do they actually do? They announced the brackets, and they announced 5. They call CEDH a bracket. CEDH is its own thing. CEDH has nothing to do with multiplayer commander. Nothing. It shares the card pool. Kind of. It doesn't share the philosophy. It doesn't share the purpose. Doesn't share the social aspect. It's vintage. It's 99 card singleton vintage with a legend on top. That's what the fuck it is. Well, not vintage because Mox is legacy. It's legacy. It's basically fucking legacy. And they didn't go through any cards, really. There's 40 cards. 40 out of 30,000 printed. And I listened to Desolated Magic talk about it because I wanted to get some ideas, listen to what some of the other creators are saying, the bigger creators. I'm still tiny. And I listened to the Magic Historian. And they thought it's an absolute fucking joke. Magic Historian said, there's 30,000 unique cards now. And they say 40 are on this, what do they call it? Game changer. 40 game changers. 40. Right? I could probably come up with 100 in 30 minutes. I could come up with 50 in 5. And very few of those would be on that list. So they say tier 3, you can only have 3 game changing cards, what they call a game changer. And that led me to wonder, so when they originally announced it, what I expected would happen is that I would have to go through all my decks and change them, modify them. after talking to the lads and seeing what kind of games we want to play. So if everybody wants to play at bracket 2, then I need to power my decks down. These are the cards Wizard says are bracket 3, bracket 4. So I would have to take them out. In a way, I was kind of looking forward to going through all my decks and revising everything and powering them down, changing the way they play, changing the cards, switching cards out, because it's an interesting mental exercise. On the other hand, I was not looking forward to it because I'd have to change so many damn decks. And then announce 40 game-changing cards, soft ban list. So these cards, these 40 cards on the soft ban list, because you can't play them in tier in bracket 1, bracket 2, you can play them bracket 3, bracket 4. I started looking at my deck list on Moxfield. They were on it. Within hours of the announcement, if you go on Moxfield, like you look at the Sharuum list, so there are 3 cards, you know, with a little, looks like a little clock in the top left corner, a little clock, and that's the symbol for Game Changer. So Moxfield is already on it. They're already identifying the cards for your deck list. It's pretty cool. And I just, what kind of damage is it? So Sharuum is a tier 3 deck. Bracket 3. I keep saying tier because they said fucking tiers initially, right? It's bracket 3. Let me turn the lights so it's better. Yeah, a little bit better. So Sharuum is an artifact toy deck. She should be an oppressive combo, oppressive destruction, take over the game deck, but I built her mainly so I could play with my cool artifacts. I could look at my foils on the table. So I could just have fun playing with my toys. She's a toy box. That's what she is. So what are the cards that Wizards calls a game changer? Is it Sculpting Steel? No, it is not. Sculpting Steel is perfectly fine. Is it Teferi's Protection? No, that's okay. Go ahead, play it. Is it? What else is kind of oppressive? Is it Cold Out the Forge Master? Sacrifice 3 artifacts, search a library for an artifact card, put it into play, then shuffle. No, that's perfectly fine. Desolator Magic, what he thinks should happen is in at least one of the brackets, he would do it blanket. He would just fucking do it blanket because that's who he is. But he says the only searching should be for lands. That's it. You ban searching for anything other than lands in the lower brackets, and that'll solve a shitload of problems. And he's right. He's exactly right. If I couldn't search for my Darksteel Forge, or my Nevernal's Disc, if I already have a Darksteel Forge, then Sharuum becomes a lot less consistent. As it is, this is designed to play at it's designed for Prog. It plays at a slightly higher power level than we normally play. So if I run Sharuum, Kuba's going to run one of his Eldrazi decks. Fair enough. But that's okay, because it gives him the chance to run those Eldrazi decks. Otherwise, he pulls Eldrazi and we say, oh, hell no, we're not playing that kind of game. Fuck off. But if he pulls Eldrazi, I'm like, hey, I brought Sharuum. He's like, okay, cool. Let's see who wins. Is Metalworker on that soft ban list? No. No, Metalworker is not. 3. Tap. Reveal any number of artifact cards in your hand. Add 2 colorless mana to your mana pool for each card revealed this way. He can generate a lot of mana pretty quickly. Memory Jar. Memory Jar's not on there either. Misha's Workshop. Surely Misha's Workshop is a game changer. No. No, it is not. Tap. Add 3 colorless mana to mana pool. Only used to cast artifacts. Hey, he costs 3. So turn 1, I can have Metalworker in play. Turn 2, I could tap the Metalworker. And let's say I have 3 artifacts. That's 6 mana on turn 2, plus the 3. So on turn 2, in theory, if I have it in my hand, I could cast Darksteel Forge. It's kind of fucked up. But that's what Sharuum does. It allows me to do these kind of things. But Misha's Workshop is not a game changer. What is a game changer in this deck? What are the cards Wizards thinks are really egregious, really beyond the pale, that I should only have 3 of these sort of cards in the deck? Ristic Study, that's one. 2 in a blue. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless the player pays 1. Yeah, that can get oppressive. It comes down quickly. Anytime trigger. Did you cast a spell? Trigger. Did you cast a spell? Trigger. You cast another spell? Trigger again. Yep. And in that vein, let's see, where's the other? Oh, there we go, Mana Vault. Mana Vault is a game changer, not Soul Ring. Do you know why Soul Ring is not a game changer? Because it's Soul Ring. That's why. That was the answer. That's what they said. You look on the Wizards website, and there's already an FAQ. They staged it. I mean, there's no way in hell they got all these questions from the people the day they announced the goddamn thing. So these are just internal questions to themselves. And one of them was, what about Soul Ring? Well, Soul Ring is not a game changer because it's Soul Ring. Because we like putting Soul Ring in precons. Let's see, either Sworn Cannon, she's pretty annoying. Each player has played a non-artifact spell this turn and can't play additional non-artifact spells. But no, she's Smothering Tithe. There we go. There's number 3. So this Sharuum deck is, according to Wizards, a bracket 3. Just under, the super anything goes bracket, but still, and it's only because of these 3 cards: Smothering Tithe, Ristic Study, and Mana Vault. So at the end of the day, there's no damage. No damage to my decks. I don't have to take anything out. I don't have to take anything apart. I haven't looked at all my decks, but just looking at the 40 cards that they say are game changers, which is a very, very low number, I don't think any of my decks have more than 3. I picked Sharuum because I know she has, after looking at the list, I know she has 3. But I try to restrain myself. This Sharuum isn't really restrained, but it's an artifact deck, so it's going to be kind of fucked up. It's just the nature of the colors, nature of the theme. So how about you? Which of your decks got hit? Which of your decks got? Do you have a lot of these game changer cards in? Which, pretty much bullshit. Like I said, it's the term and the selection of cards on the list is it's arbitrary and as low effort as they could possibly get away with. You can tell they put no real effort into the list. They just, hey, think of some cards that you don't want to play against if you're playing Commander. Or think of some cards that you hear people bitching about on Reddit. Okay, we got the list? Good. All right, we can print it, post it. So, no big changes. Yeah, just washing my hands for the bit, some moisture on it, and the moisture is making the sleeves stick. There we go, they're drying out now. So that's it. That's the big news for today. And it's basically nothing. Nothing happened. So I'm playing at bracket 3, which is basically, the old level 1 through 10. Everybody, my deck's a 7. Everybody's deck was a 7. Everybody. 7 or 6. That's what so I don't need to change anything. Which, on the one hand, okay, fair enough. I don't have to go through here and take anything out. I don't have to think about the way the deck would change. I could take that out though. I mean, that doesn't really, gives me more artifacts, gives me more treasures. Same with heuristics. Mana Vault, I don't want to take out, but the other two cards I could. And that's it. And I mean, run out of things to talk about. That's welcome to the new Commander Rules Committee, where nothing will be banned, everything will be soft banned, but if you play it the bracket that allows it, it doesn't fucking matter.